Well, happy day, y'all. I think this morning it's calming down a little bit. Um, the prominent activist in my that responded to me this morning pretty level-headed, which was good. Um, a real good sign. I don't want to burn bridges with this person for sure. I was guilty for um, including her in something that without her approval. And it forced both of us to look at things. Um, I think she's her, and she's got her circle, and I'm me, and I got my circle, and we're all transgender. And this is what was really important uh, in our bonding and in creating the Transgender United Front as a group of activists being able to work together on national and international issues. Um, Because that's what's important. Everybody's an individual. Everybody's different, and everybody has their boundaries and their breaking point. I mean, look at poor Omar Mateen. I mean, you can't even demonize the guy because his anger was all. This was just a totally dysfunctional personality that snapped. There was nothing political about it on the level of him snapping in a nightclub. It was like an inevitability, given the whole environment, the whole landscape of his own personal life, and of all the homophobia and that is in the press right now. Um, I don't know what else to say. There was nothing political about it. If there's anything political to talk about, is why someone like that, who was obviously a bomb waiting to go off, was able to so easily go buy a 6 hour. That's anything else is just wrong to apply to the discussion. We need to address homophobia, and it's something that's present in all the Abrahamic religions, and I don't know about Hinduism. Maybe we ought to check with Sam Siddiqui on that. Cisgender heterosexuality is not like a strict standard. It never was. Right? Yeah, it's the norm, but there's variations on the theme, especially when it comes to transgender. Some of us are queer and some of us are straight. Some of us need to get our bodies modified so our sex matches our gender, and others of us are like, okay, I'll just deal with this. Some of us can do it and just say, okay, I'm going to do this and live full time this way, and others have to do it sporadically. But we're all transgender, and we all have to be kind to each other. And then on a broader scale, it's like, fuck a bunch of race, fuck a bunch of class. We're all people. Everybody needs to be loved for what they are, for how they define themselves. We can't be defining other people for them. This is what leads to like the sexual repression that exploded in the Pulse the other day. This was like not a terrorist attack. This was a person who was encultured. His whole life path set him on that. His family, the neighborhood, built that sexual repression in him until it exploded into 49 dead bodies and 53 injured ones. I'm already rambling, and I wanted to read this morning. Well, some got, yeah, this got deleted. Really good discussion. A gay native posted this, but the admins took it down. I don't, it was getting out of hand, I guess. Brother's name is Levi Pittman, and he wrote, "The media was wrong. This was the biggest terrorist attack on LGBTQ2 in Western history." I just call it the quilt bag. No, enough of this alphabet soup. Anytime I'm going to just, from now on, I am not going to say LGBTQRSTUV. I'm going to say quilt bag. Okay? Stop posting about natives versus Orlando. It's about a whole other issue. People don't live a quilt bag lifestyle and feel the need to make this about themselves. Need to get educated on the matter and stop bringing your race into a quilt bag issue if you're not. Orlando shooting was a quilt bag terrorist attack. Well, it really wasn't. It was queer on queer. It was a repressed man who blew up. It had nothing to do with the native people. The majority of the victims were Latino. If anything, this was a Latino issue if we were talking about ethnic background. It boils my skin to see how our native people can be the first to discriminate against this attack. So before you bring your native card, we're going to touch on this one. Learn to live the life of us LGBTQ2. Quilt bag. Quilt bag. Every day we fight for equal rights. Boy, I must be a bitch being queer and native. That's a double whammy. You will never know the fear it is to hold your loved one's hand down the street. There was another fellow talking about that, about how they're always like checking for like, is it safe to like kiss my partner? You'll never know the feeling of being thrown out because of your sexuality and whom you love. You will never know the struggle until you open your eyes and see what is going around you for the quilt bag. So instead of hating or pointing fingers or making this about you, realize this is a human rights violation. It's a religious fault for teaching hate and discrimination that exploded all over that dance floor. You as a native blood should know exactly that feeling. So instead of brushing off the events that took place in Pulse nightclub in Orlando, educate yourself so we can hold hands and step to the future together. Love has no gender or ethnic background. This is true. We're all God's children. This is what Rabbi Lerner was saying, was that everybody was created in the image of God equally. This is the point of the American Constitution. We're all equal. Everybody's got the right to choose for themselves, and everybody who doesn't like that other person's choice has no right to impose their morality on that person. You need to just walk away. Leave them in peace. Let it be. So here's the first comment was, I see your point big time and feel terrible for what happened. But as a First Nations person, it bugged the hell out of me when the president and media stated that it was the worst mass shooting in U.S. history. They could have first said the worst mass shooting terror attack on a group done by one person, and they could have worded it much better. That's it right there in a nutshell, is why it went the way it went in the comments. Because it just, like, hey, wait a minute, there was like 100 and some odd people black people lynched. A couple of hundred people killed in the Tulsa riots, the St. Louis riots. So like, black people. And then there was Wounded Knee and all those other, and the Trail of Tears and stuff. You know, it was like, this was an individual. This was the worst individual shooting. And that would have stopped all that other stuff. Because then everybody would be talking about Charles Whitman and shit. When I hear someone go lay down, no, that's too bad. This didn't. That's too bad. I'm gonna have to find that. There was a really good meme, but it didn't resolve on the. Said something about here. Let me open it. I'll read it to you at least. This is Go Lay Down, Levi Pittman. For God's sake, no one is trying to take the spotlight away from the quilt bag at all. Anyone was saying that it was reported wrong. It's not the biggest mass murder in history. That is also quit trying to take the spotlight away from the real issues here and go lay down and breathe. The real issue is, like, why is there so much homophobia that could, like, build into such a volcano of self-hate? And why was somebody who had a history of extreme anger issues able to just so easily purchase an assault rifle? And we can't ban them, but we sure need to screen people heavy for them and make sure they, make them, take tests, they go through training, this kind of stuff. that would eliminate a lot of the things that are happening with weapons that shouldn't, is if people had to go through a process to get a gun license and registration as they did to do a vehicle. I mean, they're both, when it comes down to it, you have the right to drive a car without all that licensing and registration, but it's a compromise that people have made in this consensual society to make sure that, you know, to try and keep people from infringing on other people's rights when they're expressing their own. Which is what it comes down to with the guns. It's like, hey, cool, you have your gun, but you can't be, you know, you're causing too much problem in the community. There's too many mentally ill people getting hold of them and killing themselves. Too many irresponsible people getting hold of them and their kids get hold of them and kill somebody. Too many people are killing people they know in crimes of passion. And everybody's all worried about criminals and people like this who flip out when that's not even the majority of the problem. It's the wrong people are being allowed to buy guns. People with obvious potential for harm are being allowed to buy guns, and I mean, it's a very slippery slope for sure. It's like, especially with mentally ill people, it's like, where do you draw the line? You know, well, what are your criteria for deferring right to license? So anyway, to continue, here's somebody taking the native viewpoint. We have every right to bring up the genocide that U.S. Native people have endured since 1492. Yeah, I really shouldn't shut up about it, because it really isn't over yet. Downplaying our struggles because we point out the atrocities that have happened to us only furthers to marginalize our struggle. We do not know what it's like to walk down the street in fear for our lives. Oh, we do know. We are targeted across North America. We have the lowest life expectancy. I don't know, transgender people average is 35. The highest suicide rate. Ours is 41. What's yours? Least likely to find work. We're up there, right up there, you know, giving poor health care. At least, you know, at least health care, normal health care is available. Go try and get health care for transgender issues. The list is endless. Same with transgender people. You know, your average LGB can just disappear into society. Just all they have to do is keep their sexual preferences behind closed doors, and nobody needs to know the difference. Transgender people, especially someone like me who doesn't pass, but is obviously transgender. Well, I mean, obviously, but I don't pass, and well, here we go. Yeah, you know, of course, your two-spirit people are murdered. It's for transgender. There's over 4,000 missing and murdered Aboriginal women in Canada alone. That shows me how us Native women are threatened on a daily basis. Our two-spirited people are murdered too. The media is to blame here, not us Native people. Most people are just trying to live. You know, well, what's Jerry's quote? I need to memorize the Jerry Garcia quote. You know, it's just most people just want to live an uncluttered life. I swear, uncluttered. You know, I like my drama planned. I like spontaneous drama. You know, a little psychodrama is good for a few laughs, but I don't like it just blowing up on me. And here's another one. Latino people are natives. You are Spanish and white, and whichever native South Central American tribe who is Spanish Americans married or raped your ancestors. So technically Latino isn't an ethnic group either, and technically you're natives. I guess it is about natives. Well, this is what I wanted to touch about was natives. I'm a native to Chicago. Sorry, I look like a white guy. And I'm not even a guy. Sorry, I look like a guy to you. But I'm a lady. I'm a two-spirit. And I'm native to Chicago. I'm not indigenous to this continent, but I'm native to Chicago. And now that I've pointed that out, it's not about any one group. It's about hate and religious zealotry. Nothing more. People who do this sort of violence are full of hate. Well, that's not really exactly what it was. When she's thinking it's like, you know, some high and mighty Christian did this. It was someone who was driven to it. It was a homosexual who was driven to it by the hate. Hate can, has, and will be targeted at anyone. Jessie Mae Grazier said, I don't think anyone was comparing the two incidents, meaning Orlando and Wounded Knee. I believe it's more of the headlines, and it was the spin they took on the story. It wasn't the first mass attack on U.S. soil. The massacre of Wounded Knee, the Battle of Little Bighorn, these were the first mass shooting. Well, actually, it was before that. I'll have to look it up because they were doing it. Some of these tribes were extinct before America was even born. These were the first mass shootings or terror attacks, whichever you choose to call it. No one, I believe, believes one is a greater loss or heartache than the other. Just that it wasn't the first, and to say that kind of says to me, we didn't matter. Our ancestors had fought for our continuance in existence. Oh, it was nothing. But to some of us, we don't believe so. We struggle and strive in life no matter what ethnicity, gender, or age. That's her thoughts. James Rogers says, we're not the people slaughtered at Wounded Knee Humans. Same with Orlando. What pisses me off is how Orlando is being portrayed as the biggest mass shooting in American history when it's not. It's only the biggest single shooter. Race or sexual orientation has nothing to do with it. A complete history of a people is being overlooked. Well, it's more than one people. Is being overlooked because it brings shame to a country who chooses to forget and or ignore a sad and horrible fact. It is tragic there was a senseless act of violence in Orlando, but facts and history cannot be ignored. That's the whole issue I have with this Orlando shit. That the news media would have people believe that Orlando was the biggest mass shooting in America when it wasn't. Not even fucking close. But it was far and away the biggest single. I mean, it almost doubled the kill of the other one, and that wasn't even a shooting. That was a guy with a bomb. And Orlando was an attack on innocent human beings who happened to be homosexual, just like Wounded Knee was an attack on human beings who happened to be Native Americans. So here's my 2 cents. There was absolutely nothing political about the attack. Omar Mateen was a homosexual driven mad by the sexually repressed mores common to all the patriarchal Abrahamic religions. To compare the events like this is really dishonoring the dead of both of them. So here comes Viviana Sanchez. Well, then why are they talking gun control? Stop being retarded and making it all about drama. Wake up, Satan just sacrificed his own. So here comes Levi Pitton again. Laying down isn't what us gay people have done for years to keep quiet. Sorry, but the truth hurts, doesn't it? Funny how you all throw shade when 80% of the feedback is from native homophobic religious bigots. This is why I posted this. This had nothing to do with natives. But we are the first to take the moments of the dead away to make it about us. Yes, natives had a mass murder happen to them. But this was a terrorist attack on the queers. The idea, I'm the one, he's calling it LGBTQ2. Alphabet soup. I'm so sick of alphabet soup. Can't you just say it? Spell it out? Just say it. Acronyms are so easy to misinterpret the crap, and it just, lol. The idea that y'all seem to think it's about you and not Quilt Bag is appalling. Quilt Bag, once again, must shut up to satisfy your needs. I will never back down and never surrender to your hateful disrespect for LGBT2. Nothing terrorist about it. Fags shooting fags. Sad but true, Darwin. I'm transgender, but I'm heterosexual. I never could relate to the gay pride thing. I'm a hippie who went native. Among the rainbows who consider themselves to be hippies emulating Hopis, individuals define themselves, and everybody else respects the way a person wishes others to relate to them. Nobody cares if you have a penis and want people to relate to you as a female, or if you prefer to partner with somebody of the same sex. All the different kinds of queer people hate each other, constantly putting each other into bags. Inject a walking time bomb like Omar Mateen, who is a seething bag of frustrated homo, raised in a sexually repressed secular Islamic family, who has access to an assault weapon. You've got an insane person walking into a crowded nightclub full of frolicking fags, and he hoses the place down, killing 49 and injuring 53. That's where gun law enters the picture. Why was that man able to purchase a gun with his history? Oh, I forgot. Lorelei just came popping in. Her her conclusion is that anger is never an excuse for deliberate misgendering. Well, if somebody's acting like a man and calling themselves a woman, slandering me in public, I'm going to misgender them. I'm sorry. Good luck and goodbye to you too. Just I ask your question, whatever. There is out and out libel being committed against me that you're a party to. Are you willing to reveal to me who the individuals are who advised you about me, or will I need a subpoena to get them? I'm getting real close to suing. But anyway, let me get back to my video and see. Oh, 22 minutes. Let's shut this down. I was going to read for a while, but that's just a lot of bandwidth. What were we talking about? Don't worry, be happy. I guess, you know. I mean, this is just me reporting on the news and reporting and commenting on the news and getting into discussions about it. This is what I do for shits and giggles when I have nothing better to do, which is most times. You know, the horn's there, the stones are on either side of me, or right in front of me, and that's me. You know, I'm either doing it here at my desk or out on the street. That's me. Yes, Tommy's, you know, political monkey that plays pretty music and got pretty stones. So, if you've heard anything else about me, it's bullshit. I'm not a sexual creature. I never really was. I mean, I didn't. Yeah, I had very few partners in my life, and one of them happened to be underage, and it was only a momentary thing anyway. Because my partner was really, you know, it was, I don't want to go into it. It's like, don't worry, be happy, just keep breathing, keep smiling, keep your body, you know, keep everything all, ooh, that was a good one. Now, I'm going to start working out and try and get the belly down and get, you know, boobs are looking good. Yeah, and my hips are, you know, I always had a little love handles there anyway. And they're spreading, and my legs are looking good too. Not bad for a 62-year-old training. I'm a happy camper right now. Happier than I've ever been. You know, I'm never going to be happy until either this is gone or a vagina is there with it. I mean, that's just something. That's my lot in life. That's my cross to bear. Is that my gender does not agree with my sex, but I've chosen to leave it up to the Creator to repair it. I don't stand in judgment of anybody who can't handle it, because it ain't easy to handle. Yeah, I mean, I know. Thanks for watching, folks. Happy day. Bye-bye.